What's going on, guys? It's been a little while since I made a video. Been crazy busy, focused on some new stuff, and old projects, of course. So I really want to talk about when a man stops being masculine. So this happens a lot. So where I come up with the idea of these videos, and most of you guys already know this, but I gather data. So when I do coaching sessions, when I watch other videos, so on and so forth, I gather data. Looking at comment sections as well helps. But mostly, like 99% of the stuff that I get for video topics and ideas comes from coaching. So I look at the situation and I'm like, okay, this is what happened. And usually it comes back to the idea of attraction. Why we need to focus on staying attractive? Well, when you date someone, they need to keep that attraction high for you. They need to look at you and be like, wow, I really have a catch here. This person keeps growing in a better and better way. I was doing a coaching session with a few dudes throughout the past week, and we went over some situations that were kind of similar. And that's why the title of this video is the way it is. So the title of it is When a Man Stops Being Masculine. This happens a lot. So a few people, especially during the COVID lockdowns, were basically masculine first. They were at their jobs, they were at the gym, they were doing everything they were doing. Then COVID hit, and gave people a lot of time to reflect, I guess. There's a few situations where a couple of dudes that were in a long-term relationship, one was 6 years, one was like 8 years, and one was like a couple of years. And what ended up happening was, instead of the dude staying masculine, she lost attraction to him because he stopped doing that. It's a behavior, it's an attitude. These guys, pretty much all of them, instead of trying to pursue something new, a side hustle, something else, anything else, they just sat around, right? One guy got super depressed. Another guy actually two guys got super depressed. One guy, he just was sitting around. He wasn't really depressed in terms of the way he felt, but he was just sitting around, not doing a whole lot. And she, as much as they were both, but she was still on her grind doing what she was doing. So you can't let her see you just doing absolutely nothing all day, unless you're on vacation or whatever. But the only hack you can have around this is when you are crushing it in life. You're bringing home money, you're in great shape and all that. But she still wants to see you getting up off your ass and doing something. Do more than her. Disappear for a while. Make it at least seem like you're doing more. Have an office, right? Like I do. So it's really important that you keep on top of that. So what ends up happening, especially during this COVID time, people got depressed and they got down into their feelings, right? And it's tough because I don't think as a society realized how dependent we really were on the ability and the freedom to go around and do things that we could. So it made people really depressed, and sad and anxious and whatever. So this is where the whole thing starts to turn around. When guys get depressed, right, there are two ways to handle this, okay? When you when you go through these things, you go through funks, you go through depressions, and it's very difficult to do this, I know, but you have to keep going and keep doing what you've been doing before. If I'm unhappy, I'm still going to go to the gym. I'm still going to work. I'm still going to work on my blogs. And because how I feel doesn't really matter. Right? I don't stop doing something because I don't feel like doing it. I just do it anyway. And that's where a lot of people don't understand. And that's the whole idea about being, it's a lot of people get upset about this because they're like, well, if I go through something and I need to go through it, I'm not allowed to, and my woman's going to lose attraction for me because I go through something. Yes and no. So there's two ways to handle it. And I'll finish that whole thought out first. You keep going and keep doing what you've been doing no matter how you feel, even though it sucks. Or you let the depression, anxiety, and all that feed you and cripple you, right? You let that happen, and now she's going to automatically start feeling like a caretaker. See, she needs to see and know that you're going to still try to handle business even though you're going through it. You can tell her, look, I'm going through some shit. I'm not going to be this exciting. And if you have a good woman on your hands, she's going to say, okay, let's get through this together. But again, you have to have a decent woman on your hands, which a lot of you guys have trouble finding and choosing. Because many of you will actually, instead of vet a woman, you just go out with the first girl that likes you. And I was guilty of that when I was younger as well. So it happens. There's nothing wrong with that, but you need to learn your lessons and go out with women that you actually like and you vet for a long time. and spin plates until you find somebody. And okay, spin plates and then gather a bunch of different connections and then see who you really like, right? But when you guys go through depressions and you guys go through things, what she's really going to care about is if you have a plan to make it better. That's all she's trying to trust your masculine leadership, and that's the difference. Yes, you can go through shit. No, not every time that you go through something is going to make her want to break up with you. She just needs a plan. She just needs to see and know that you are going to get yourself out of this, because she's not going to. She's going to support whatever you do. That's kind of like the idea of what women really do. They support you, and they will give you a little nudge and a little push, but they're not going to do shit for you. And again, that's the biggest difference. So you need to pull yourself out of your own shit, because again, what will end up happening is if you don't, she will think and feel automatically that she's going to be in the position of a caretaker. See, when a lot of dudes go through a depression, they don't do much. They sit around, they wear the same clothes for days and days on end, play video games because, oh my God, I'm good at something. And then what ends up happening is she's like, okay, did I end up with a kid, And that's what happens. And it sucks that it happens like that. But when you guys go through shit, that's the difference between being a masculine man and a leader versus being, paralyzed by what you're going through. Because everyone goes through shit, boys. We all do. Everyone does. And how you deal with it is the biggest difference. And a woman's always going to be attracted to a guy that can handle his own, that can get himself out of those things. Yes, you can talk to your woman about these things. You can, especially if you have a good woman on your hands. But the idea is you can't let what you're going through in life as a dude defeat you. And that's the biggest difference. She wants to be behind you, helping you. But if there's nothing there, if she's just standing there by herself and you're hiding behind her, waiting for the world to come and save you, or waiting for your woman to give you a little bit of motivation, that's the biggest difference. And she's going to be like, yeah, no. And that's when she loses attraction for you. So when you guys go through stuff, have a plan. Just have a plan and execute on that plan little bit by little bit every single day. Every day is a new day to do something. Every day. So you guys can use that time to start a new project, start a new hobby, get out of the house, go for a walk, get some exercise, do all that shit. And you're going to end up being and doing a lot better than somebody who's just sitting around playing video games and getting absolutely nothing done, wasting time. It's completely fine to waste time and have time wasting activities like video games. I play video games. However, I get a lot of shit done beforehand or during, when I game, right? I'll be like, hey, if I'm playing with people, I'll be like, hey, I got to take 10 minutes and just write out this, write out like 5 paragraphs for a blog. That makes money. That gets something done. And then my woman's like, oh, cool, you're making money. You're doing shit. You're doing what you're supposed to do. And here's my plan. She knows my whole plan. And that's what good communication is all about. So when you guys are learning the fundamentals to all of this, remember, it's always about communication, right? Trust, respect, boundaries. All of these things come before love. And again, those are the conditions, right? Unconditional love doesn't exist between mates. It exists in parents, grandparents, family, and all that, but not between a man and a woman that are trying to love each other in that way. So those conditions, need to be met. And men, you need to take care of your own shit. You need to take care of yourself, your mental health, your physical health, your bank health, right? So when you guys are in those things and going through those things, you can hire somebody like me, or you can talk to people who actually care about you, who want you to grow. So what I do with my coaching is I focus on the area of your life that you want to improve the most, right? Where attention goes, energy flows, right? If we focus on money and we focus on all those, we learn how to make money first. We learn what the action steps are every day, every single day, to move that needle forward. Then if it's women and attraction and shit, okay, we study the knowledge gaps. What don't you know? We study those. There's like 6 books. I said to you guys that I was going to release a document, and I still will do that for you. I'll put it up on my community channel tab, and you guys should be able to download it from like a Google Drive of mine. And then if it's health, we can focus on that. I don't really talk too much publicly about that because I'm not in the best shape of my life, but I will talk about the stuff that I'm doing really, really well at. So that's it, guys. Okay. So when you guys get into these funks, when you guys get into these areas of your life that suck, the only thing that you guys need to focus on is how do you get yourself out? What is your plan? That's all she's going to want to know. And I know many of you guys are already in the breakup, going through the breakup. So you're like, okay, like it would have been great to know this before. I know. So focus on attraction, focus on female nature, and focus on yourself. Those three things, once you get all those down pat, you know what you're looking for as a man in life. You know how to deal with women, and you know what they're looking for, and you know exactly how attraction works, right? You can't go wrong, right? You obviously need some practice, but you're going to know exactly what to do in every situation if you practice enough and you fill the knowledge gaps. Coaching's down below, courses down below. Talk to you guys later. Done.